recording at the beginning. You better turn that off.
Yeah.
Or turn your ringer down. Because last podcast I had to take out an entire section. Because Chris was ding, 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 the family chat. So
I hate it when he does that.
If he's listening, love you, Chris.
Goodness. This one too.
If Chris is actually listening to this podcast.
I didn't realize you were already recording.
This is a test. If you're listening, tell me about this section. What did we say? I won't ask you about it. You'll have to tell me to my face. Come at me.
Listening.
He's not listening, but this is a test. Because I want to call him out on his bullshit. I'll be like, what did I say in my last podcast, bruh?
We talked about you. What'd we say?
What'd we say? Huh? Then he'll actually listen. I won't go. I'm not going to talk to him about it at all. I'm just going to know.
Yeah.
Like,
he'll say something if
oh, yeah.
he was actually listening.
I doubt he's listening because nobody's watching these. There are no views.
Yeah, so he hasn't.
No. I look at my analytics, motherfucker. This is a Jazz and Eli podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Jazz.
And today we're talking about the Oklahoma teacher walkout. Mostly my mom's opinion on the matter. I agree with her, so that's why. Our opinion, but her words.
Alright. So, over the past 10 years, Oklahoma teachers have not had a raise. They have cut spending. The figures I've heard were in the neighborhood of 28%. I do not have the exact figures. As usual, I did half-ass research.
Yeah. If you're listening and know prior to this, we are
not a political news site. If you want solid
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, if you want solid facts and figures, you can do the research. But basically, I'll give you a general idea, and if you need more specifics, you can do more than that. But anyway, we have not just had spending cuts in education. We've had spending cuts across the board. Education, healthcare, mental health, DHS, health department, everybody.
Across the board.
Across the board. But because that was really the only way they could cut education without it being a violation of the law of supplanting. Because we legalized gambling, mostly the lottery and casinos, in order to put more funding towards schools. And part of the law was that they could not take money out of education and try to replace it with the lottery money. It was supposed to be in addition. Well, not only did they not, they took part. They did. Well, no, it's okay. So the lottery money went in. That's where it's supposed to be, but they've done such deep cuts that the lottery money hasn't even come close to covering the cuts.
Yeah.
And since all the cuts were across the board, they got away with it.
Instead of adding to, it's supposed to be supplementing.
Right. It wasn't supposed to take over our funding.
Yeah. It was supposed to add to, not
on top
supplement.
of everything, with the lottery money, we did not earn as much from the lottery taxes as was originally pushed, advertised, however you want to put that, because we legalized the casinos, and we legalized the lottery, and we legalized the scratchers.
When was this?
I want to say about 13 years ago.
No, only that long ago?
Yeah, because I was working at All-Star at the time, and that was before I got the job where I'm at now. And so that would have been 2005-ish.
Whoa.
That's when we legalized the lottery, and we legalized casinos. Granted, the casinos are still Indian run, but we legalized the casinos, and we get tax money from the casinos. But there was also supposed to be some sort of gaming machines that they ended up not legalizing. That was counted in the initial advertisement of the money we were supposed to be getting from the lottery. Well, we didn't get all of that money.
Mm-hmm.
So not only had they cut to the point where the lottery money doesn't really matter anymore, but we didn't even get all of the money we were promised from all of the gambling money. So, anyway, point is, we have had massive spending cuts to the tune of close to 30%, which means that a lot of schools have not gotten upgrades, they've not gotten repairs, air conditioners and heaters don't work, so we've got kids sitting in 100-degree heat, no air conditioning, or freezing temperatures with no heat. Some areas have had to cut down to 4-day school weeks. And not just in our poor rural areas, but also some of our poorer urban areas as well. There are schools in Oklahoma City that are at 4 days a week. So it's not just rural schools that have been cut down. Fortunately, we live in a wealthy enough area that we have not been affected nearly as badly as some other areas because our property taxes have made up a lot of the difference. Norman Public Schools funds their schools, but we have still had to cut back on a lot of programs like the French immersion school at Reagan Elementary. They had a French immersion program. If your kids signed up, all they did all day long was speak French, and that program had to be cut because of all of these.
Because they couldn't afford it.
Because they couldn't afford it. But we still have band, and we still have our art classes, although they're severely underfunded.
The teachers have to provide their own supplies, of course.
Right,
that
but
is the norm.
The programs are still open here. But there's a lot of areas where those extra quote-unquote programs, the arts, music, etc., have been cut. They are not open 5 days a week. So the kids are they're the ones that are suffering for all of this, for all these budget cuts, which, by the way, was because of all the tax cuts to the wealthy, to the oil and gas industry, to the point where new wells are being taxed at 2% when they used to be taxed at, I want to say 7%.
What is that?
The gross production tax. It's basically when an oil company taps a new well. That's its most productive time, when the first few years that they've tapped a new oil well. And so we used to tax that at a really high rate because that was when they were making their most money. Well, we had a surplus at one point, about 8-ish years ago. And our newest governor basically cut that. Our newest legislator, our Tea Partiers, our Republican legislature, and our Republican governor cut that gross production tax from like 7% to 2%. So the first several years, when an oil well is its most productive, we're taxing it the least. And of course, when we keep talking about raising that gross production tax, the oil and gas companies are like, oh no, we'll have to move or something. We won't be able to live here, and everybody will suffer. And the truth is, they're not going anywhere. They can't get the oil somewhere else. The oil is here. They're not
you're tapping it.
Right. They're not going anywhere. We could charge them 15%, and they would still tap that well.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And we'll be happy to pay that 15% because they're getting the money off the well.
Yeah.
So you're taking our resources and then bitching and moaning
about
having to pay money to us for taking our resources.
Yeah.
That educates our children and fixes our roads, and
but because they slid a little money
takes care
her direction,
right? Because they paid off our legislature, Democrats and Republicans across the freaking board, all of them. I am not pointing fingers at a particular party here. They were all corrupted by it, and honestly,
as are most politicians.
Because honestly, I'm sorry, but if somebody slid me a couple $1 million, I'd probably do just about anything they said.
Yeah.
It's, I'm not pointing fingers here at any particular party. This is across the board. Our children are suffering. Our teachers are striking.
Our state is suffering.
Our state is suffering. And it's not just our schools. It's our mental health facilities and our disabled and
our vets.
Our homeless, our poor and disadvantaged. Not people who are just sitting around on their asses choosing not to work, but the ones who physically actually can't for real, very, very real reasons. I'm talking our mentally disabled, our, the people who have a 70 IQ and are lucky if they can count money.
We just hired a girl a few days ago who literally can't count cash. And everyone at work is bitching about it. It's like, well, what point is that? What's the point of having her here? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like,
because she deserves to earn a freaking living like anybody else.
Yeah, she needs to get paid too.
She has bills, and we're talking not just people who are in nursing homes here, although those people are also suffering from the same cuts.
Mm-hmm. I've been to a nursing home that literally has holes in the wall. If a house looked like that,
they'd condemn it.
They would condemn it and make the old person move out and go to a nursing home that has holes in it.
Right. And that's a whole, I could go on about that one. But anyway, okay, so.
Same goes for schools and the conditions that they're in.
Right.
If a house looked like that or a daycare looked like that, DHS would close them down.
Right.
So why is it okay?
And we have actually had schools closed down because they were condemnable. Because they weren't getting
They're not getting funded. TLC. They're not getting remodeled.
There was actually one.
Let's ask our legislators.
I want to say in War Acres or so.
How often?
That a school just recently. I mean, it was maybe a year or two ago.
War Acres up in the city?
War Acres, yeah.
That's a pretty wealthy area, isn't it?
But yeah, there was a school that got torn down in that area. Anyway, but so our schools, inadequate, outdated, insufficient number of textbooks. We're talking 27 books for 80 kids and, a class of 35, and there's maybe 20 desks.
I went to a pretty wealthy school in a pretty decently off town, and even we didn't have enough textbooks to go around.
And when I was in school, everybody had their own.
Yeah.
We checked out a textbook at the beginning of the year and turned it in at the end. Our textbooks were up to date. The president was correct in them. I mean...
Yeah.
It's unfathomable that we have let our kids down this much. Let's see.
The kids born in 2008, our seniors right now have never lived in a time frame
where their schools were adequately funded.
Yeah, we're completely funded.
Yeah, my third child is about to graduate, if she gets to.
If this protest keeps going on, she'll still get to walk, but...
she will still have to retake some stuff because...
And finish.
Yeah, but this isn't their fault. No. I'm not blaming the teachers. No, I'm blaming 100% the legislators. Behind them. I am blaming the legislators that are refusing to do anything, who are throwing temper tantrums, who are saying, nope, you guys are just throwing a fit. I'd be throwing a fit if my office did not have enough desks and chairs for the people in it.
Yeah.
If the desks and chairs that were broken and pinching people's butts and there was no heat or air conditioning, I wouldn't work there for much longer. Let's be real. If I went up to my office and the chair I was sitting in was pinching my ass and the desk I was sitting at was falling apart and the computer I was using was 15 years old and the mouse didn't work half the time, I wouldn't work there for very long. I would leave.
No.
And if I had a master's degree and I was walking into that environment, I'd be super pissed.
I'd leave and wouldn't continue working
on top of the fact that I had a master's degree and I was working in these conditions, I didn't get a raise for 10 years and was expected to buy supplies for my students. Meanwhile, my healthcare costs are continuing to rise year after year, but I'm not getting any raises.
Yeah. Rent's getting higher.
Mortgages food's getting more expensive.
Gas is more expensive.
Cars are more expensive. Everything's more expensive.
TV, internet, electricity, gas, water.
My wages haven't changed any. I wouldn't work there.
I work in a fast food restaurant.
These people have student loans, and you get more of a raise than they do.
I work in a fast food restaurant. I get one raise a year.
These people have student loans, and I am buried under student loan debt, and I don't even have a degree.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having a master's degree and the debt that comes along with that, and being forced to work in those conditions to do my job. And everybody looking at you going, well, you knew what you were signing up for. No. I signed up to teach children.
To make money.
To pay my bills.
To live.
Feed my family. This was a career. I got an education for this. And now I'm expected to work in a building that doesn't have heat. at a desk that's falling apart with not enough materials to teach the children I'm supposed to be teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching is hard enough. Dealing with other people's children all freaking day long is not hard enough.
I'm sure that daycare workers get more.
At least they get yearly raises.
Yeah.
So.
And they get proper conditions. Because if they don't, DHS will shut them down.
Now, I think there's a few moving along. Yes, we've discussed. But one of the things I've not heard covered a lot is, okay, they passed a spending bill. They passed a tax increase and they passed a spending bill. And that was wonderful. It was only $6,000. The teachers were asking for $10,000 raises, but they were also asking for a lot of other things, not just pay raises, but also funding for materials and improvements to the schools, etc. Well, they passed the bill and then immediately started repealing parts of it.
I've heard nobody talking about that.
Not only did they do that, but
they immediately turned around and repealed it.
Okay, they immediately turned around and repealed it. They also capped it at 1 year.
Just one.
So all these tax hikes that they just made will only go towards all this for 1 year. And then all of that money, they're not dropping the taxes. They're diverting it to different funds.
No.
Yes.
No, that's not okay.
That's why the teachers are still fucking striking, because they not only repealed a good huge chunk of the raise, like, I know that a lot of people did not like the hotel tax. I understand that, but
nobody likes taxes.
Nobody likes tax. Well, but it'll hurt the long-term stay people.
No.
But they immediately repealed. They had it in place. They immediately repealed a whole bunch of it. They did not fund it for more than 1 year, and then after that, although the mandate to pay the raises and to pay for the spending was still in place, they no longer had a mode to fund it after a year. So in another year, we'd be in this exact same situation trying to figure out how to pay for the stuff we are now mandated to pay for. That's a part that I have not heard a lot of people talking about. I heard about it from Facebook, from people posting.
Yeah.
Saying, this is what's going on. Media is not covering it. I've not heard it on...
I have covered it vaguely, but not really a whole lot.
Right, and most of them are going, they got their spending increase. Yeah, but then they turned around and repealed a bunch of it. Yeah, they're getting credit for the tax hike, but they're not focusing, they're not saying, look, but they did this, but then they turned around and repealed a bunch of it just so they could say that they voted yes on the vote.
Yeah.
But then turned around and started repealing it all quietly. And can't understand why the teachers are so upset.
It's like, we voted.
Right.
Like that one guy on Facebook, he's like, last year we voted for a tax hike on teachers. He's like, I'm here for the teachers. Like, where is that money coming from? Because as far as I'm aware, no one's getting paid for that. We voted in
2016 on a state sales tax. It was on the November ballot for a state sales tax increase of 1%. I did not, and it was for the teachers.
It was to
pay raises for the teachers. And I voted no on it.
Because it's bullshit.
Because we already pay an 8.75% sales tax. That would have meant we were paying, after that tax hike, a 9.75% sales tax.
Yeah.
We are already paying a high enough sales tax. 1% is too fucking much. Yeah. And I said no. And so did most of Oklahoma.
All of Oklahoma.
And it's not because I didn't want to fund teachers' pay. And it's not because I was being greedy over 1%. Over just a few pennies. That shit adds up, especially when you're poor.
Yeah.
So who does that hit the hardest?
The poor. The working class.
The working class. The people who are making it paycheck to paycheck as it is. Do not need a 1% sales tax hike.
They can't afford it.
Find another place. I know. Let's raise the gross production tax.
They're tapping our
resources. Tax the people who are drilling the resources directly out from under our fucking feet.
Yeah.
They are taking our resources, the resources that belong to this state, and then refusing to pay for it. And then gouging us for gas and oil and everything else that has to do with that. Take it from them, not us. We already pay enough in sales tax and this tax and that tax. And Governor Fallon wanted to raise taxes on funerals and car repairs and all kinds of other crazy stuff that, again, would hit the poor the hardest.
Yeah.
You know, like the poor in Oklahoma aren't struggling enough as it is.
Let's make your dying family member's funeral much harder for you than it already could have been. And then, if your car breaks down in the middle of that funeral, the repairs are going to cost you even more than it would have in the past.
So we need to raise the gross production tax. We need... there's another small problem that I've heard in a few places. Oklahoma has far too many school districts. We only have like 3.5 million people in the state.
Yeah.
We have like 500 school districts or something ridiculous like that. It is far too many.
Yeah.
And for each of those school districts is a high-paid superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their wages are, but I know it's really high, and I know that once you spread it across every single school district in the state, we're spending a lot of money on superintendents.
Yeah.
They don't educate anyone.
No. They just boss the educators around.
Right. They boss the bosses of educators around.
Oh.
They're the ones that run the whole district.
Sounds very,
But we have too many of them.
Yeah.
We need to consolidate some school districts. It will save... I know we've got a lot of widespread rural areas in Oklahoma. I completely understand that. I've been in rural Oklahoma. You can go an hour without hitting anything. But I think we can manage. Mm-hmm. If Nevada can do it, which is basically desert in Las Vegas and Reno, and then more desert...
Isn't Nevada one of the, highest paid?
Yeah.
Highest paying states?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got, 40 school districts and way more people.
I feel like America right now is so disorganized, and it's to the point where it's insane.
It really sucks because we've got our federal government, and then we have each of the 50 states, which is left to run themselves however they see fit in a lot of ways.
Which I get.
It's how we were designed as a country. So each state has their own rules and gets to kind of figure it out on their own. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we're one unified country. Mm-hmm. And we have our federal... It can get a little messy.
Yeah, it's like... Because some rules contradict even the federal government rules. Such as legal marijuana.
That was actually one of my points. Is we need to just
we need to legalize marijuana.
We need to. Granted, we do get to vote on it for medicinal in June 26th.
My birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Anyway,
happy birthday to me. I wish I could live in a tree.
Legalizing taxing and regulating medicinal and recreational marijuana throughout the United States, not just here, although it'd be a huge boon for Oklahoma because we are perfect for growing it.
Yeah.
We have the perfect climate for it. Our soil is perfect for it. That's why our Senator Connie Johnson, who is also running for governor, go Connie, is pushing for industrialized hemp in Oklahoma because it could be a huge, huge, huge cash crop for us. Mm-hmm. Because there's only so many seasons you can grow cotton before you've tapped the soil and you've got to move on to a different crop.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that with hemp. You can grow hemp season after season after season after season, and you're not going to destroy your soil.
Yeah.
And it produces far more things. You've got concrete, you've got clothing, you've got other textiles, you've got rope, you've got the medicinal purposes for just hemp.
It feels like
non-THC, so you're just CBD. You know, you got that whole industry now. You know, Oklahoma would really prosper with industrialized hemp.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that would be a huge boon. But being able to grow weed here would be a lifesaver for this state. I really think that between hemp and marijuana, the state would go through a boom.
Mm-hmm.
Just from that. Because our farmers who are struggling trying to just grow food crops because
food doesn't really grow here
that well. It does. I mean, but again, with like most...
I've seen more hay than I have ever seen food.
I know we grow a lot of wheat here. We grow cotton here.
I've seen cotton.
I've seen a lot of cotton.
Near our own town, there's a lot of cotton.
I know that we do grow food, but I'm really not sure what. Because, like you said, you don't see a lot of it. I mean, I've seen some corn.
I don't think I've ever seen
our
a corn maze.
Farmers are struggling. And it's not just Oklahoma's farmers, it's everybody's farmers. The tariffs that our illustrious leader has tried to place, this whole trade war. But we're getting on topic here. The point is that these things would really, really help Oklahoma. And we can really come closer to funding schools and funding all of the other things we need to fund if we... Right.
These people are supposed to be working for us.
But they're not. Another thing we need to do, I think, is to ditch private prisons and release all with their mandatory capacity. So we have to keep them at like 90% capacity or some stupid shit like that.
Which is killing
it's killing us because we have to keep...
middle class.
Yeah, well, and we have to keep people in jail and pay for that longer than we need to. And they're going to prison over money problems. Not because of their original crimes, but because they weren't able to afford to pay the fees.
Yeah.
The endless, massive fees and fines that they're stuck with.
Most prisoners don't get their IDs back. So when they get out, they have to buy a new ID. They always get lost, air quotes.
See, I didn't know about that.
It happened to one of the girls at work, and it happens to a lot of the prisoners Grandma works with. Their IDs just get lost. They don't know where they went.
And do you have any idea how hard it is to get a job if you don't have an ID?
Very. And you also have to go up and get your own birth certificate because you have to have 2 forms of ID. So you have to go get your birth certificate and your social security card if you don't have them already.
Right.
So that's some money out of your pocket. That's like...
And you don't have a job.
$30 out of someone's pocket.
Really, 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 really hard to find a job with no ID.
Yeah. An ID takes, is about $30 again? So that's $60.
Right, just off the bat.
Just off the bat.
Just to prove who you are.
So you can get a job. But you don't have any money. You just got out of prison or jail.
And
you probably lost your job.
Any fines that were levied against you, fines and fees, etc., that were levied against you, immediately due. You have to start making payments immediately.
Within a month of your court date. The girl I work with, I almost said her name. The girl I work with, they threw away her contacts in jail because they were a health code violation, I suppose, in that area. Because not all counties are created equal.
Right.
They all have also their own rules and regulations. So she goes from one place and it's okay there, and then she goes to another place and they throw them out right in front of her. She can't see. For the rest of the time that she's there, she doesn't have glasses with her. She was on her way to work when they picked her up. She was wearing her contacts. She was headed to work. So they made her throw those away. And then, so when she got out, she had to buy new contacts.
Not cheap.
Not cheap. It's $200 just for a fitting. So she had to borrow the money from Lori.
And, sweetheart, That's with insurance.
That's with insurance.
No,
she has...
but you get your...
Yeah, she has insurance.
Okay. And you get your supply, but we have really good eye insurance.
She had to... So she had to borrow money from people to acquire these things so she could come back to work. She had to get a new ID, and she had to do all this stuff before she could even go back to work. And it took her 2 weeks after she got out of jail to get to work. And
having to beg and borrow to get it all.
Yeah. So
we should probably take a quick break since we were hitting the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, okay.
So we will be right back, guys.
Alright, we're back. Okay. So anyways, you have to do... it's all about making money from poor people.
And in the end, that money really doesn't go towards anything.
No, I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway. I mean,
I haven't seen it. It's not going into anything that I know about.
Right.
Our teachers aren't getting paid.
Not only do we need...
DHS is underfunded.
Homeless. Our disabled are
we're imprisoning our homeless because they're homeless, and that's illegal.
But we need to ditch them with their mandatory occupancy, and we need to move back to state-funded prisons.
They're trying to build the prisons.
And we need to eliminate some.
They're trying to build a prison. They're trying to build a prison. For you and me.
Yeah, right.
For you and me to live in.
Let's see. We also need to release all non-violent. Now, if they've committed a violent act, this means they're not on that list. Non-violent drug offenders. If they are in there and their original charge is possession of a small amount of weed, and the only reason they're in prison is because they weren't able to pay their fines, let them fucking go. They're wasting us money. Yeah. They are wasting us money. And stop putting people in prison over money.
It's legalized slavery.
It really is.
This is where they get their employees.
This is yeah. And actually there was a sheriff, I don't remember where he was from or anything, but basically he was like, but you can't let those guys go. They're the ones that fix our cars and change our oil. We use them for stuff. You're willing to imprison somebody just so you can get a free fucking oil change?
Yeah.
Fuck off with that noise.
Yeah.
We really need to amend the 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
We need to remove the part that says if you've been convicted of a crime, you can continue to be a slave.
Yeah.
Because it's incentivizing
putting people in the prison.
Imprisoning people.
Mostly our poor.
And
our poor men and women.
Poor men and women, especially people of color.
Mm-hmm.
All poor, but especially people of color, but they have higher rates of poverty. So
imagine how that came to be from a very racist
country.
It's
a racism and all, but
But it's not a race problem, right?
Right. No. They're just naturally more violent criminal. But I think
black lives don't matter. All lives matter.
Right. Yeah. Unless they're black. We need to make some changes. We need to make some changes, not just in Oklahoma, but in a lot of states. Because Oklahoma is not alone in their shitty wages and crumbling schools and massive tax breaks to rich corporations. I'm sorry, but Amazon should not be able to get away with paying zero in taxes and then be making various cities compete to give them even more tax breaks to move their headquarters there. Yep. That just straight up should not be a thing at all. Yeah, Amazon needs to be...
They're kind of like a powerhouse. Because everybody uses Amazon, just about.
Well, that doesn't mean they should get away with not paying any taxes.
No, definitely not. Because
they're working on being $1 trillion company.
What I'm saying is that it's not like I can't not support them, because I use them.
Right.
I use them for entertainment. I could just stop doing it.
I buy shit from them constantly.
We work for them, kind of.
Yeah, we have our own Amazon business.
So, it's not like we just cut ties with Amazon. They're huge.
No, yeah. Well, and it's getting to the point where they're starting to take over grocery stores. They're starting to take over a lot of things.
Yeah. Because guess what? Humans don't like interacting with each other.
Because humans suck.
Humans suck.
Let's be real here. Overall, as a species, we kind of suck. We're destroying this planet. We're really, really, really mean to each other over stupid shit like skin color.
Yeah.
Or region of birth.
Or gender.
Or perceived gender.
Or sexuality.
Or any number of stupid things.
But really, and guess what?
You're worshipping the wrong version of the same God.
How dare you!
You are the wrong kind of Christian. I'm a Southern Baptist and you're a Catholic. I don't like Catholics. But you're both Christians. Not the right kind of Christian.
You don't believe in...
I mean, entire wars have been fought over the right... Which one is the correct version of Christianity?
Or religion, period.
Well, yeah, religion in general, but, like, entire wars have been fought over which sect of Christianity you were.
Wasn't there a time...
How dumb is it to fight over my version of this religion is the better one and therefore you need to die? Where do we come to that realization?
I don't know.
How do we get to that point?
We started ranting about something completely different.
We did, but that's what makes these things fun. I
guess so. We started, and we got through what we wanted to say.
Yeah, so now we're just ranting in general.
Yeah, this is a Rantcast. That's probably what the title of the video is going to be.
Rantcast.
Rantcast, talking about the Oklahoma teachers walkout and our fucking federal government who doesn't know how to do their fucking job.
Let's declassify marijuana.
We should do an explicit language warning at the beginning of our podcast.
We cuss
a lot.
We'll clean up our language if we ever decide to get monetized. Right now we're not monetized, so we can cuss all we want.
Yeah.
Woo! Not family friendly, bitches.
Ha. For now, anyways.
We'll clean it up, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I still gotta look on SoundCloud and Spotify.
Hey, you know, one day
to see if we can put our podcast up there.
We'll just make our money off merch.
Maybe one day. I don't know. Whatever it is, I just hope I don't have to be...
at Taco Bell anymore?
working for anybody.
We're working on it. Got a lot of likes on that LuLaRoe skirt that I got.
Cool.
LuLaRoe.
Nice. Hopefully we'll start selling some more stuff. We sold a lot of stuff last week.
We did. We sold the most we've ever sold over a weekend.
It was great. It was
6 items. It was amazing.
How much did we earn that weekend?
I think all in all maybe $80.
Which is a lot for us.
It was basically $40 on Posh and about $30, $35 on eBay.
And then Amazon.
And then we have one on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing weekend. It was absolutely the most we've earned so far.
It was a great weekend.
And we even got a 5-star on our Posh review for one of the items we sold, which was awesome.
Shout out to our Poshmark.
I don't know her name, but yay, thanks for buying our coat.
Hashtag shout out, no name person.
Yeah, I can look her up.
Nah.
It's alright.
We already shouted her out on our other Twitter.
But, yeah, I went to her closet and shared a bunch of stuff.
So
as a thank you for her 5-star review, which means she loved her coat.
Yay.
It was a
Hopefully
lovely
she'll buy
red.
something from us again because we shouted her out. Who knows?
Who knows? We had a coat she liked. I even bought something on Poshmark. It should be here in the next day or two. I'm really excited. My mom should really love it. Cute little purse. She'll like it, I think. I'm on fire.
Do you feel like you're standing in front of an oven?
Yes! Yes, I do!
Grandma explained hot flashes like getting blasted in the face with an oven, with the oven heat.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, that's rough.
All over body blush times 10. You know, like, so embarrassed your entire body gets hot, and then multiply it.
Yeah.
Menopause sucks. Just for the record.
I'm really nervous about, okay, so I'm in the process of buying a house, And I just looked
She's in the process of starting to look to buy a house.
Yeah, like, we're in the beginning stages. Like,
she's got the pre-approval, and we've looked at a couple of houses.
2. We found one that we really liked. The first one was already, like,
being the first
sold,
one was rough.
And it was rough. I mean...
It had enough space.
Smelled like mildew.
But it was rough.
It was bad.
It had a lot of...
The owner
a lot of damage, and the owner was clearly either mentally ill or on drugs.
Yeah, like, it was... Like, even my realtor was like, whoa.
Yeah, she was out there. But the house was very run down, and it had a lot of DIY remodeling that was...
Oh, yeah.
That they should not have been doing themselves.
Yeah.
They clearly did not have the skill set.
Yeah.
But the house we looked at today was gorgeous-ish.
It was really great.
It needed some remodeling. It needed some love.
It needs some love.
It looks like something the Property Brothers could knock out in 3 days. I mean,
super easy.
It's simple stuff. It's like knock out a wall here, replace some cabinets there. I mean, and the storm shelter was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen such a nice storm shelter.
Yeah.
It was huge. A family of 10 could easily fit down there. A family of 5 with some dogs could easily fit down there. I mean, yeah.
How are we going to fit everybody in that shelter?
You're not. The chances that you're going to have to fit the entire family in that shelter is pretty slim.
Like, if our area was in effect, it would be the 3 of us.
Right.
And the dogs.
So, yeah.
I would have to get air mattresses and, like, go bags ready.
Yeah, so you'd have stuff.
So, because I get real freaked out during tornadoes, it's not a rational fear.
But it is. We live in Oklahoma, and, I mean, entire buildings...
We have had a tornado in Norman 1, and
it tore up some stuff.
It tore up some stuff, hopped over where we were in the direct line.
Yeah.
And it hopped right over us.
It missed our house by, like, a half a block.
Yeah.
And went over the school you were sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, a little aside here. A lot of our schools do not have storm cellars, shelters of any sort.
We went down into the basement.
That is the storm area.
Oh, okay.
for Norman High.
Yeah. It can fit a lot of people.
We do have a couple of schools that were originally designed to be storm shelters in and of themselves. Mm-hmm. They were basically buried.
Mm-hmm.
But they have since been unburied. Oh. Whose brilliant fucking idea that was, I do not know. We live in the state of
Oklahoma. Oh my God.
For real.
We're directly in the belt of Tornado Alley.
We live, for those of you who do not know Oklahoma very well, we are about 20 miles south of Oklahoma City. The town directly north of us has been hit by Category 5, F5 tornadoes.
More has been slaughtered by tornadoes.
At least 3 or 4 times in the last 20 years. It has been leveled.
Yeah.
Entire sections have been leveled multiple times.
Yeah. The fact that they keep putting houses
Kids died a couple of years ago. It was in the same year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because a tornado hit the school and basically a wall came down on a bunch of kids.
Oh, God.
And
I don't know what I'm going to do when Charlie's in school.
Be thankful you live in Norman. Norman doesn't get hit that often. That one that hit,
God, was
about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Was the first one that hit the middle of town in probably 40 years.
Yeah.
It's that's rare how often it happens in Norman. I mean, people in Norman, sirens go off, we step out on the porch. Nobody goes to their hidey hole. Well,
literally, we just look outside to see how dark the sky is. We have driven 2 more in the middle of tornado.
Yeah, warning. We also saw how black the sky was and turned the fuck around.
Yeah, the sky was
I was not driving into that shit.
It was just me and her. We were on our way to pick up Dad.
Was that what we were doing?
Yeah.
I knew we were headed to the city.
We were headed...
But the sky was black, and I said,
nope.
That's probably not a good idea. So I turned around, we called him, and said, we'll be there later.
Yeah. And which he totally got, because, he
didn't want his wife and daughter driving through a tornado.
Yeah. And that section of town did
been on the highway when Okay, it was May...
I would fucking freak.
I want to say it was the May 8th tornado. Yes, we just refer it not by the year they hit, but what day they hit, and everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I left work. I was up at Quail Springs Mall, which is about 30 miles north of Norman.
Mm-hmm.
I was working there. There was a tornado warning or whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm headed home. I left work. That shit hit I-35 while I was on it. I was like 10 miles north of it when it hit. I was listening to the radio, and the radio announcer flipping out. Oh my god, it hit! Ah, there's cars everywhere!
Oh my god.
You know, it's bad when the radio announcer loses his shit in the middle of the tornado.
It's kind of a sight to see, I'm sure. I've never seen a tornado. We were...
Well, apparently Sam and I were in the middle of that one that hit Norman High. Jumped over Norman High and hit the houses on the other side of it. We were at the ATM when that shit was going over. Sirens went off. And we went home and just stood on the porch and watched. Because, the weather was insane. I had never seen anything like it.
We were in this...
And I didn't even realize it was a tornado at the time.
I was in a classroom, and we were all like, no. The whole day we were like, no way. We were under tornado watch. We're like, whatever. It's not going to hit.
Basically, we're under a tornado watch from about April until June.
All the time.
Every time a storm comes through, you're under a tornado watch. So tornado watches really aren't that big of a deal to us. Might be to somebody who's an outsider, but... To somebody in Oklahoma, a watch isn't really a big deal. It's when you get a warning that you need to start paying attention. When the sirens go off, you check the news. At the very least, you check the news and see where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm at work and the storm is bad and then the tornado sirens go off, I call Dad. And I'm like, check the weather. Yeah. Because I want to know where it's at.
Exactly where it's at.
Because the first thing I think about is my kid and me being away from her while this is happening. I cannot stand the thought.
So, having a hidey hole in your backyard
would be
circle back to the beautiful fucking shelter.
Yes. It looks like a fantastic shelter. I would love it. It has a window so you can see the outside. It's obviously
it's a very
storm
tiny
protected.
Window.
It is a tiny window, but
all but maybe 6 inches of it are below ground.
Yeah.
And it is very solid. No
dry.
No water damage or any evidence of any water anywhere, so it's nice and dry.
It looks like it's was probably built decently or within the last, decades.
It was just built decently. I'm pretty sure that's been there for a long time. They don't build them like that anymore.
No.
No.
Okay. Why? Is there something wrong with it?
They're stupid expensive that big.
Oh, this would be perfect.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
It's perfect.
I mean, it's easily a 10 by 8 room and 5 foot tall.
We'd be knocking out some walls.
It's probably closer to 5 foot.
Let's walk you through it.
Not quite 6 foot.
It's like you walk in the door and you have this huge, spacious living room. And then to the right are 3 bedrooms, a bathroom. The bedrooms are... They're decently sized.
10 by 12-ish.
Yeah, something like that.
One,
you got your big one, you got your medium one, and you got your small one.
But they're in that general vicinity.
Yeah. So, and then it's got...
The hallway is wide.
The hallway is pretty decently.
And it's got a giant cupboard at the end of it.
It's deeper than the one I have in my own place.
Huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. Basically...
I don't know if I would say huge,
I'd say...
I could fit my towel.
For a hallway linen cabinet, it is huge.
Oh, okay. Yours is pretty decently
Ours
deep.
is deep, but it's not very wide.
True, fair.
This one is very, very wide. I'd say it's probably 6 to 8 feet.
Really wide? Maybe like what?
At least a foot.
A foot?
I would say at least a foot.
About a foot deep. And then it's got some drawers and stuff where you can put some of your linens and whatever. And then, but the carpet everywhere. Except for 2 rooms.
But one of those rooms is old 1930, 40s hardwood. So me and the realtor both were like, I'd bet money that's hardwood under that carpet. She pulled back some of it, and sure the fuck enough, it's hardwood under those carpets.
Yeah.
Rip that shit out, sand, varnish, you're good to go.
And sanding and varnishing is not that expensive.
Compared to laying down a whole new floor at like $30 to $100 a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Square foot, I'm sorry, I should be more specific.
Yeah, square foot. So, it would be cheaper in the long run. Most of the problems with it are mostly cosmetic. I hope, if this is a thing that does happen, then we'll go through all the...
Yeah, we'll do all the inspections to figure out for sure, but honestly, I really like this house.
I like this house too. It is our first look at a legit house.
Yeah.
But in Norman, houses are hard to come by.
Especially at the price point we're looking at. And the house this big?
Yeah.
At that price point, it's got a smallish laundry room. It's got...
Which is bigger than the laundry room I have here.
A one-car garage. It's got a little, what I guess was supposed to be a dining nook, which would probably be an office for us. It's got a nice little covered back patio. It's got the storm shelter. It's got...
A cute little shed.
Cute little shed, which of course has nothing to do with the price of the house, but it's a nice little amenity at any rate.
It's adorable. Wait, does the storm cellar go into the cost of the house?
No, I doubt that it does.
Okay.
It's probably like the shed. It's not a factor.
Okay.
It is definitely a selling point. It's probably just not part of the price.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a part of the ticket price. It's just an accessory that you get with the shirt.
That nice of a hidey hole is amazing.
To find a house that has one is fucking like striking gold.
Right? For real.
Like, because you don't have to put it in yourself. You don't have to fucking pay for it. It's already fucking there.
Yeah.
Every backyard, in my personal opinion, should have one.
Oh, yeah. Ours used to.
But it's full of sand because it wasn't safe.
It was not safe.
It wasn't safe.
And it's definitely not safe now.
Was it a little tube?
I don't know.
Oh, you've never been in it?
I've never been in it. It was filled in before I ever saw it.
Oh, okay, so it probably came filled in.
No. Never had that filled in.
Okay.
She was afraid somebody was going to fall in it.
Oh, fair.
She was paranoid.
Yeah. Sometimes probably rightfully so.
In this instance, yes, she probably was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was filled in before we ever moved in. And then there was a tree house in the backyard as well. Yeah. It got torn down before we really moved in.
But yeah.
Shortly thereafter.
Don't have to worry about this storm cellar not being safe. It looks perfectly fine.
Great. It probably looks better than the rest of the house.
It really does. Yeah.
The kitchen is so outdated.
The kitchen has carpet in it. The bathroom has carpet in it. It's so gross. Ew. Ew,
the kitchen has not been remodeled since the 60s.
The house hasn't been remodeled since the 60s.
That's all you need to know about that kitchen. The in-cabinet stove with the switches in the wall. Samantha didn't even know what they were. She's like, what is that? I was like, that's the switches for the stove.
I figured it out. I was like, those are probably for the stove. And then Sam was like, what the fuck is that? Well, she didn't say it like that because she doesn't cuss like that, but
she could.
She could. She just doesn't want to.
She's such a goody two-shoes. She doesn't.
She doesn't care for it. It's fine.
But yeah, she didn't even know what they were.
Yeah, so that was funny.
Honestly, I've never actually physically seen them like that.
That kitchen would have to be redone.
Severely.
I couldn't live in it.
It is move-in ready. The kitchen
everything
cabinets
works.
need to be sanded and repainted.
Everything works.
Everything, the stove and the 60-year-old, 50-year-old stove works. The 50-year-old oven works, but they would totally need to be replaced.
The heat and AC work. The electricity works. The electricity is kind of bad. My dad's worried about it because it doesn't have ground.
Yeah, it's old electricity, but the house was born in the... Born.
It was born.
It was built in the 40s.
Happy birthday.
But it's also 2 blocks from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a firehouse around there somewhere.
So, I mean, and it's a quiet neighborhood.
Very quiet neighborhood. Older people mostly.
Not a place you would trick-or-treat in. Even though they would
I don't know, they might. They're less likely to be going out trick-or-treating themselves.
Yeah.
So they're more likely to sit at home and hope some kids come by.
They would love Charlie.
She could end up with
old neighbor friends.
Yeah, 5 extra sets of grandparents. Who knows?
I don't know. It seems like a great place. I would like to live there.
So, if anybody's listening, send us some good vibes.
I would be mortified if you know who found out where I lived.
Well, we managed to keep them from finding out where you live for the last 2 years. So.
I would kill Julie.
She knows this.
Yeah. She knows that I would immediately never speak to her again.
Yeah. She's not risking that.
No.
She likes being able to see her granddaughter.
And she likes me pretty well,
too. Oh,
too.
yeah, she definitely likes you.
So
she considers you family.
Yeah. So, I mean, she would never, but I would fucking flip.
Yeah, because that's not a place you can just have to move away from.
And he can't be bringing drama into that neighborhood.
You can't have your neighbors hating you like that.
Or I can make friends with them before
then they could be a
he
resource.
re-enters our lives.
But thankfully that's many years from now.
And so make friends with them.
Definitely make friends with your neighbors. Because especially if you've got a bunch of older people around you, they may not have a lot of friends and family that stop by. So having a younger person around that will come by and check on them, make sure they don't need anything.
Oh, it's a lot of responsibility.
You're just making sure they're alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can't hurt to go
bring
around.
Bring Charlie around.
Bring sugar-free cookies to everybody or something.
Oh my god.
You don't know how many of them are diabetics.
In the state of Oklahoma.
Quite a few, I'm sure. If any of them are living on Social Security.
Yeah, that's no shit.
But yeah, I'll show you where the park is from there.
It looks like a fantastic place.
It is a good little neighborhood. I lived in that neighborhood when I was younger. So.
Really?
Yeah. When we lived in Alan's house, we were renting from him. Yeah, it's you go up Stewart, towards Robinson, and then take a right on the very last street before Robinson, and we lived just down there.
Say we're on that road that we went up, it would be that way?
Okay, we're in the yard facing Robinson. It's up and over. So it's straight up Stewart, and then take a right on Hayes.
Okay.
Which is the last street before Robinson.
So it'd be up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was...
Like 6 blocks.
Yeah, so it'd be in the yard, right where that stop sign is, looking at that stop sign, and
you
straight
just keep
up.
Going straight.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but I don't think you can exit that way anymore. Really? You used to be able to go out Stewart, but I don't think you can go out Stewart anymore. But about a block or 2 east of you from there is a park that you could walk to easily in a few minutes. And then you've got the church park as well, which you'd have to talk to them personally if it's okay to bring your kid over during the week.
Right.
Which, it's a church, I'm sure they're not going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, if they really have a problem, then I don't know. I'm not going to say it's shitty, but it's like, what? Why?
But there's a park just a couple blocks away.
Right. Maybe it'd probably be like a safety issue.
And of course,
if they said no, it'd
you're 2 blocks away from where her Nana works.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's where she works.
I know.
Anyway, we're about out of time.
Yeah, we are about out of time. All right. That is the Jazz and Eli podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Jazz.
And we will see you guys next week. Follow us on Twitter at Eli Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't share it because I don't think we're there yet.
But, if you know somebody who might like it, let them know to listen.
Be on the DL about it.
Be cool, shy. Man. We're trying to build a following here.
Okay, fine, share. Go for it.
We want people to share. We want people to like it. We want people to listen. And so we need to encourage these things or we can't build a following.
Fine, like, share, and subscribe.
Woo! Hit the bell, too.
Hit the notification bell if you want to hear more from us. Follow us on Twitter so you can get updates about the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. There you go. And we'll see you guys next week.